Phoenix talks manifest in a dream. Got a growing channel, YouTube's where the wisdom resides. For all the Nest members, no truth can ever hide. She's an under-detective on the digital beat, questioning the unthinkable, bringing fire to the heat. With a mind so advanced, highly intelligent and bold, part of the hive mind with birdie stories to unfold. Common sense is a superpower, cutting through the noise, unlocking closed minds, amplifying all our voices.
Phoenix, Phoenix, what do you see? Unlocking knowledge for you and me. The nest is rising strong and true, sharing wisdom, me and you. Clap, clap, clap for the truth we seek. Every answer, week by week.
Hello, hello. Wow, it's a beautiful Tuesday. It is finally July 22nd, and we have got some information for you. I will tell you, this case twists and turns. Remember, I said maybe we'll have a Hail Mary? Well, we're going to talk about this amazing contact order that was requested by the prosecution in the state of Idaho v. Brian Kohberger in regards to the Idaho 4 unaliving of the 4 college students in Moscow, Idaho. Why are they asking for 99 years? Who knows? Let's talk about it, because here Phoenix talks. And let me tell you, make sure that you guys hit that thumbs up. You like that button, and you set all notifications to all. It is free, and you will definitely want to know when I'm live and when a new video pops out. So I just want to welcome you all in. Welcome you little nesters to the I almost said the hive, to the nest. Welcome on in, and I greatly appreciate if you're watching this on replay. Shout out to the replay crew. And let's get this started. So, we watch as the case summary gets larger and larger. It's at 101 pages already, which is pretty intense. And then we also see some other things going on in the background. We see President Trump, make a statement on Truth Social. It starts picking up momentum, shared all over social media. So if you're coming on in, I just want to go ahead and welcome you in. Hey, Sassy. Hi, Phoenix. I've been enjoying you on with Birdie, and I'm seeing you alone for the first time. Well, welcome in, Sassy. Welcome to the nest. Karen, welcome back. Karen. Hey, Phoenix. I've been watching you and all your videos this afternoon. You were amazing. I sure hope Trump getting involved is our golden ticket, our Hail Mary. Absolutely. I just said that. Crazy as it is, someone's got his attention. Someone's in his ear. Tomorrow can't get here sure enough. Thank you for the truth we seek. Badass intro. Thank you, Heather. Thank you, Mick. Sparky. For my amazing, beautiful song intro. Hey, Sharon, welcome in. And we have Australia. Good morning, Jane from Down Under. And let me go ahead and grab a few slides. I want to show you this video that I've got because it is very telling. And it especially is going to fit right on into with what I've got planned for you today. So y'all are I'm so giving and kind and generous. I Really appreciate you all. The replay crew is just amazing, just as our lives are amazing. So let me grab this screen and I'll pop it in here and you'll see it. Let me take this off. Hey, Truth Seeker, welcome in. Come on and join the fun. I'm just going to share this real quick. We're going to watch a quick video. And here we go. Make sure you're on, Birdie, tonight. I'll be on later. Let's see if it lets me share my screen. Okay. Alrighty. Here we go. Hopefully y'all can see this screen as soon as it pops back in. All right. Sometimes this thing is just a little touchy. I know Birdie had an issue last night too, so let's see if this works for me today. Cross my fingers. I'm waiting for this deck to be up. Yes, here it is. Alrighty. I'm going to put this on the big screen for you as big as I can get it so that you all will be able to watch this. And oh, I got an error. Hold on one second. Woo! Well, you guys are waiting for me to bring this up on the screen. Tell me where you're tuning in from. I do see in Australia. I do see a couple of other locations. All right. Let's see. Can you guys see that? Hopefully you can. And let's see. It is being so touchy today. I wonder if it's something in the air, y'all. Are we in like Mercury retrograde? I hope not. All right. Hopefully you guys can see this. If not, I'm going to do a little crash out real quick. Can y'all see that? Can you see that video on the screen? I sure hope so. It's from Como News 4. California in the house. Summer Jane in the house. Poetic Justice. Hello. From Ohio. And Heather from Kansas. Hurdy from Alabama. And I see a North Carolina in there. So glad I caught you live before I started to make a video. I have to get done for a job. Yes, yes. Okay, you can see it. Okay, let's play this because this was pretty interesting.
Well, hi there, Mary. I talked to a legal watcher today who says it's fairly unusual for a sitting president to weigh in, but adds it points to just how highly publicized and emotionally charged the case is. It is scripted nation, and now President Donald Trump wants to know why Brian Kohberger killed 4 young University of Idaho students in November of 2022.
Look, even the president of the United States wants to know what the motive was.
Trump took to social media, writing in part, "I hope the judge makes Kohberger, at a minimum, explain why he did these horrible murders."
I have never seen him or any other president come forward and say something to kind of put himself into the middle of a judicial process that's already well underway.
Longtime legal watcher and senior investigative reporter for Sinclair's Criminally Obsessed, Ann Emerson, said she was surprised the president weighed in, but thinks his sentiment speaks to the psyche of America, the victims' families, with that one unanswered question, why?
I would say the likelihood of Brian Kohberger speaking to us in this sentencing is very low. But if we just go based on what we've already seen, he has really shown absolutely no emotion.
Emerson believes the evidence is more reliable than Kohberger.
You're dealing with a personality who has murdered 4 people. Do we feel like he is a reliable narrator to his story?
He has the right to address the court and the right to say nothing. He agreed to plead guilty to avoid the death penalty.
Death penalty is the ultimate in providing justice for my daughter. And I don't know what kind of father wouldn't want the most for their child. So I didn't want shortcuts.
Sentencing day is also about the victims' families, their chance to tell the court about their loved ones and the impact of such brutal deaths. But the prosecution plays a significant role, too, presenting arguments for the appropriate sentence.
We're going to get, to some degree, a story about what happened.
Koberger is expected to be sentenced to 4 consecutive life sentences on Wednesday. That's the very latest. Reporting live, I'm Michelle Esteban.
Michelle, the judge lifted the gag order on Thursday. When will all the sealed documents be released to the public?
Sentencing is over. He also said sentencing could go 1 or 2 days, whatever those families need. So he'll start after that. And he said it's going to be a long process as he goes through each one of those documents and reviews them to determine what can be released. Legal watchers tell me it could be days, it could be months, it could be even longer.
All right.
Well, hi there, Mary. I talked to a legal.
So there you go. We've got it hitting the local news. You've got it streamed on national news, on social media. Everywhere we turn, there's something going on and something to add. I mean, just a few moments ago, I made a video if you're on the TikTok streets. And yes, the Chapins have announced they are not attending the sentencing. And then someone commented, I haven't been able to confirm this yet, but they say that the Gonzalez family is not going to the sentencing either. So what is going on in Idaho? Isn't this case just getting a little weirder and stranger as the days go on? Because I'm going to show you something really quick from the prosecutor of this case, Bill Thompson. So, Idaho Statesman is a really simple magazine in Idaho. It's almost kind of like the news, right? That's the news in their local news. So I found an article that I thought was really interesting and then just updated it like yesterday. So on the 21st, they had an article that came out, and I'm trying to share it with you as soon as this thing loads. And they talked about Bill Thompson. They talked about his history, how long he's been a prosecutor, how many terms he's served. And it was eye-opening, very eye-opening. The whole focus was on Brian Koberger's trial, the prosecutor. And basically, well, let's review it because I think it's really important to understand where this is coming from. And I got this thing that popped up. So it goes on to talk about the prosecutor, the defender, and the judge. And in this case, it talks about on November 22nd, the police were dispatched at a home in Moscow near the University of Idaho campus. After the report of an unresponsive person, the officer soon suspected it was a homicide. And not just one, but 3 more. And that really has always got me in regards to the 911 and the unresponsive person. Now, a couple of things run through my mind with knowing the background players, parents in this home at 1122 King Road, but also the environment and the situation going on in Moscow, Idaho, especially with the drug pipeline that runs through there. And as a former Idahoan myself that moved out of the state for many reasons, this was a growing concern in the area that I lived in outside of Boise. Now, one of the things that really caught me in this article is that, he explains he happens to be out of town. This was actually a sit-down interview. Explains he happened to be out of town when this happens. And, obviously he's getting close to a retirement age. And he says, I can tell you that there's nothing. A homicide scene is never going to be a pleasant experience, but it's necessary part of what we do. He's talking about being a prosecutor and what he's done. But here's the interesting thing is that as you go down and you read this article, it was first, after the first month of Koberger was formally charged is when they decided to seek the death penalty. And if you know anything about Thompson and his background, which I learned a lot by reading this article and researching a little bit more on him, he actually is highly noted to not seek the death penalty, but take plea deals which I thought was really wild because we've seen just recently, July 2nd of this year, he go and take a plea deal that maybe they had no intention to go to trial. And of course, you see the families are saying they robbed us of our day in court, no negotiations, no jury of our peers, not even the pretense of cooperation and fairness. Was this the plan all along? Was to not even have any input from the victims and then just do whatever he wanted? I mean, he's been in this office a long time. He is a native of Idaho, and he comes from a military family background. That's who Bill Thompson, aka Santa, is 68, been married since God knows how long, has a couple kids in the area. But I thought it very notable to show you regarding Bill Thompson's background as a prosecutor. And he hasn't sought the death penalty since a case in, I think it was 2015, perhaps. A notable trial from there was a mass homicide incident in January 2015, and he brokered a deal in that plea for life in prison, and he removed the possibility of the death penalty in that case. So obviously, he led Koberger right into a plea deal to avoid the death penalty and take the death penalty off the table. But in the Supreme Court, that was another case in the early 2000s. There was a case of an ex-wife and her boyfriend. The bodies were burned, and then that later was vacated by the U.S. Supreme Court in regards to the findings that they had found when they sentenced someone to death. And again, Thompson opted not to seek the death penalty again, and he rescinded to 2 life terms. So Thompson isn't new to plea deals, guys. He is just playing the game as a district attorney would play, right? But there is something unpleasant about this case that's been called out by Trump, and that's just basically like an icy thing, and questioning if any judicial misconduct was actually involved in this case. So it goes on to say he earned the U of I law degree, got married, kids, and so. Talks a little bit about the Koberger case, specifically the public statements. And it says basically the prosecutor wasn't seeing the limelight. This was like his last hurrah, in my humble opinion. And typically he likes to play with a group of guys in music instruments, yada, 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 and it goes on and on. But it's a very interesting article to look into the life of Thompson. And something that caught my that you won't believe in this article, and it played it. The only thing that caught my eye that was like, ooh, what in the world did we just witness? He says that basically Koberger walked into this house, committed these heinous, brutal crimes, and this is what made him push for the death penalty. But yet, we just watched on July 2nd, he said Koberger was never in that house or near that house. So why would he say one thing and then go back and say another? That's just some shoddy work, folks. Shoddy, bad for the community. And this guy is someone that has established his lifetime in this community of public trust. A prosecutor that goes back and says something like this, it just blew my mind. I mean, what do you think about what I just showed you? What do you think about the possibility that there was some shady stuff going on in this case from day one? What do you think? I wrote President Trump an email letter today. Awesome. And that's what we can do as citizens of the United States when we see judicial or prosecutorial misconduct. That is one thing we should hold our elected officials to the feet to the fire. Because tomorrow, as you well know, this is going to happen. Bryan Kohberger will be sentenced in the unaliving of 4 college students. So we all know he took a plea deal on July 2nd to the November 13th, 2022 quadruple murders of the U of I students. And he'll be sentenced tomorrow in Ada County, Boise. We know that he's taken a plea deal to avoid the death penalty in exchange for 40 years life sentences without the possibility of parole, plus an additional sentence for burglary, according to Idaho law. Family statements, victim statements, surviving roommates will have a chance to deliver impact statements. This is often linked to like a legal funeral, to say, in terms of emotional closure. Are there allocution rights? Kohberger may choose to speak or remain silent. He's under no obligation to explain his actions and may well stay silent. Motive is still unknown despite the widespread theories and speculation, and even from President Trump for Kohberger to explain why he committed the murders. They can't make him or force him. It's still undisclosed, and we may never know. And of course, media access, the gag order was recently lifted, so court documents are still sealed. Evidence may just disappear. Some things may become public, though highly unlikely after sentencing continues. I'll be streaming the hearing tomorrow, by the way. I do have something scheduled. So what's next? Well, Hitler obviously imposed the sentence that basically, through allocution, wrap it up and may go on to Thursday, so it might be 2 days. But now that we hear the Chapins and maybe the Kaylee's family's not attending, it may go faster. And then obviously Kohberger will enter the Idaho IDOC, the Idaho Department of Corrections, and for his placement and assessment, which is really interesting. Because when you think about all this, all the details of this, why in the world would the state ask for a 99 years, I call it years of silence, the secret power that Idaho has asked for a no contact order? Now, I know we talked about it briefly, but why a no contact order? What do you all think of this? 99 years. What's the first thing that comes to your mind when they say a 99-year no contact order? 99 years no contact order. Well, let's talk about it. Welcome in. A cover up. A Green Electric Mama blog. A cover up. Well, let's understand the legal terms of a victim, because I know this is so tiny, guys. Bear with me. The screen is very tiny. I will read it exactly for you, and hopefully you guys can look it up yourselves. But in this definition of a victim, the legal definition is a person who has suffered physical, emotional, psychological, or financial harm as a result of a crime or other legal wrong. So why is the state asking that Kohberger not contact any of the victims or families for 99 years? Why do you think that is? Do they want to silence him? Not only is he accepting a plea deal, being sentenced, but if you think about it, why in the world would they say 99 years? It's a life sentence, basically. You can't contact any of these people until you basically die. Until any of these people die, you can't contact any of the families until you die. So, in criminal law, a victim is the person directly harmed by the actions of the defendant. This includes being injured, killed, assaulted, defrauded, or otherwise wronged. In civil law, the term victim can refer to a plaintiff, an injured party who claims damages due to negligence, defamation, battery, etc. In many U.S. states, they define the victim in specific laws, often to establish eligibility for rights, such as giving an impact statement. Now, remember, Kaylee's family did not have a victim's advocacy form or assigned a victim's advocate. So I think they may not have anything to say. It also gives them access to restitution. That means that if Kohberger has to pay restitution, the family can collect that. Notifications of other court proceedings that they plan on holding, any more hearings, and then protection orders. And that is what this protection order is requesting. So they're basically saying, Kohberger, you can't contact any of these people's families. And that's just the end of it. Don't speak to anyone. And you know the gag order's dropped. I'm wondering if he's going to have an interview after he's sentenced and housed somewhere. And I'm wondering myself, is he going to ever speak? I don't think he'll speak tomorrow. I'll be shocked if he does. But in the realms of legal, they can't make him speak. So obviously the no contact order is you know, I've never seen a 99-year contact order ever. This is probably the first time I've ever seen this. So under Idaho law, a victim, since we're talking about the order says victim, a victim can be living or deceased. A no contact order can be extended, which they've asked right here, to protect family members or other close to the deceased victim in some cases. And the term may also cover witness survivors or others if the court deemed them affected by the crime. And this is exactly what a lot of people are questioning: the victim of a crime. And we've already seen in the repository that judge and the prosecutor and the defense had a hearing in private to discuss the roles of the victims, and that included Dylan and Bethany. So my key takeaway to this order, why 99 years of silence, is that because the term victim in legal filings, just like this motion, it typically refers to the deceased individuals of a homicide case, surviving victims, if any, what we just discussed, and sometimes their immediate family members, household members, depending on the nature of the protective order. So let me ask you a question. Let's test the room. Do you think, I had a question written down. Hold on, let me grab my book. I thought I'd remember it off the top of my head. Do you think that 99 years is enough, or should it simply be forever? I mean, if you think about how old they are now, 99 years for everyone in this case to go away, 99 years of silence. And what's your biggest concern about how this case has been handled? What is your biggest concern? Because these are supposed to be public courts, public. And with all the secrecy and the cover up, Why? Ridiculous. It is ridiculous. And my last question of the day would be, should Brian Koberger ever be allowed to have media access or interviews? Should he be? Or are they trying to silence him? Do you think that there was some agreement, a secret agreement in the plea deal that he cannot speak? I have a feeling there's going to be something like that. I have a feeling that some of these families are going to advocate that he can't. I have a hunch about this because they don't want him to speak. The state doesn't want him to speak. The state doesn't want him to contact any of these families, even if he had information that could point to the other 4 perpetrators that were named. Where are those people, by the way? Where are those other 3 male DNAs that they have that they haven't identified? Where have they been? Does anybody know? I mean, that's one question that I ask on sentencing day, because obviously there's got to be 3 other males out there, and we don't know who they are. Oh, I'm sure they want him to stay silent. He can do interviews, but I don't think in Idaho. Yes, interview, jail. Hey, Poetic Justice, welcome in. My concern is that 95% of people, oh, here's a good one, because he was tried by the media. Jane, I agree. And basically Jane says, my concern is that 95% of people thinks he's guilty and that buying a knife and a vegan is enough evidence for the death penalty. That's very alarming how our society is brainwashed and thinks. You know, I posted a video about this today. I 100% agree with you. For real, they know they just don't want to tell anyone because Brian could walk free. Ashley, I think you hit it right on the head. Look at Mini Me Too. Is that Mini Mo? Hold on a minute. What did you say? He should be able to speak. Absolutely. That's the freedom of speech. First Amendment rights in our society. He's going to disappear into witness protection. He may for his own protection, because we're talking about some very, very, very scary people in prison that were part of this whole thing, of this whole takedown. I sent you a video what's happening behind the scenes. They are sitting in jail. What? Who's sitting in jail? The 4 perpetrators? Hey, Phoenix. Hey, Nesters. Hey, Christina. Welcome in. It is sad. This is so sad. He's guilty. What was that? It's a done deal, guys. Don't forget. Jason, this case has just begun. You have no idea, and I feel so sorry for you. You know, I usually don't boot anybody. We all have the right to our own opinion in a loving way. So this is not even begun. It's not a done deal. Watching the stories, listening to the 911 calls, very suspicious. The truth. Yep, they want him to stay silent. Pob mentions the 4 and where they are now, and their cases line up to Koberger's. Yeah, I saw that. I think it's very interesting. I know that 2 of those 4 perpetrators are definitely who they named. 2 of 4 of them I can confirm. And I'm waiting, like something doesn't seem right. The roommates seem really weird. There's no way BK did this in those little minutes. Absolutely not. 7 minutes. There's no way anyone could possibly have done that in 7 minutes, especially someone with white snow and coordination problems and phobia of germs and more. Thanks, Phoenix. See everyone later in the hive. Absolutely, Sharon. We'll see you in the hive. I will be there. It's not a done deal. He took a plea deal, and that's saying, well, that's different. I mean, being forced to take the death penalty off the table, people do it all day long. They plead guilty to things they are innocent of. They sit around until new evidence comes forward, and then they're released. That's why you have the Innocence Project. It's common sense. I barely been watching this for a month, and I seen right through the roommate's lies. Possibly. Why all the secrecy? Good question. Yeah, that's AI, guys. I usually use AI. I misunderstood my remark, him signaling the plea I meant. Oh, got it, Jason. Got it. Absolutely. It's just a trigger mechanism. They're going to release him from the death penalty. The prosecution gets what they want. He's got a record like you wouldn't believe as a prosecutor, and this will probably be his last case, especially if the DOJ peeks its little eyes into what's going on. Ashley, you say, and I'm sure the same way too, I can look people in the face. I get all nervous, right? And my eye twitches, and I can look at people. Yeah, because of the way he acts with his ASD, they say he's creepy and he has no emotion, which is so far from the truth. Hi, just got here on replay. I'm so grateful for this community. Yes, welcome on in. Don't be a hating. Hola, señorita. Hello, Chad T. Welcome to the nest. Hate to break it to you, but you're late to the party. It's a done deal. Mark and Betty, that is not a done deal, guys. I hate to break it to you. This is just a big opening to find out what really is going on. Take care, Jason. Chad, the thing that gets me, the prosecution's lack or need of interest to prove he did it alone. There's no way he did this, guys. It's all circumstantial evidence, and the corruption needs to be exposed. I agree, Elrig. Poetic Justice Pub today with the court dates of the AK guys and BK lining up exactly is too coincidental. The only thing I saw, I watched Pav's 38-minute video, and the only thing that he got wrong was the actual two individuals that broke open and are responsible for the whole takedown of the pipeline. They got caught. I won't tell you their correct names because they need to be protected, but because these guys are in prison, they have friends on the outside taking orders. That's the omerta. And just so you know, they not only have friends that can do things outside of prison, but these guys will not be in prison forever. They won't be in prison forever. And these people who actually gave up their contacts need protection. So just a little quick reminder, just because you get sentenced to prison doesn't mean you're always going to be there, unless, of course, you did an ultimate thing like murder someone. Yes, tomorrow he will be in shackles. He will be allegedly in prison garb because the judge said he cannot appear since he pled guilty in human civilian clothing. So he will be. Nashville, Tennessee, welcome into the nest. Wolf Angel, I believe Ann and her team are in two of this. She's not done yet. Yep, I don't think so. Hippler unseated only to let mainstream media get off the hook, hoping to continue the narrative because he's scared. Well, whatever Hippler is, I hope he does the right thing. I refuse to read or listen to any videos that read them. Gotcha. All right. So, I mean, I think we're all alike of mind here because I think in the end of the day, if this was your son, your brother, your husband, or any of your family sitting there, you would want the same justice. You would want our legal system, starting at our officers, to the detectives, to the investigators, to the district attorney, to the judges, to the defense attorney, to always do what's best interest of justice. And that means making sure they get the right people that have done a crime. My son is the same way like BK. He's not a bad person, likes to keep to himself, and he doesn't make you a killer just because you can't look someone in the face. Absolutely. A lot of people have sensory issues. A lot of people can't look people in the face. It's not something they're comfortable with. It's like unheard of. I remember when I had my child when he was 7, well, actually the age of 4 to 7, I really had to look him in the face and I'd have to tell him, use the word focus. That was the first word always out of my mouth. Focus. I need you to focus and listen to what I'm telling you or what I need to share with you. It's something very important. So, with ASD, that is a very common problem. It's very common. And, what's kind of odd is that even Patterson and Ward, in the book that they released, The American Tragedy, the Idaho 4, they actually talk about Koberger's tics guys, part of ASD, if you don't know. And they actually mentioned it in the book. So he does have the ability to do this alone. How did they say? He does not. No, he does not have the ability. And that is one thing that his defense team kept trying to explain, and they wouldn't hear it. Absolutely. To do what? Uphold the law? What do they get paid to do? Yep, that's right too. They get paid to uphold the law, and we're not seeing their state law hold the constitutional law. Once you get to the Supreme Court of Idaho, they have to uphold the Constitution. If you get any higher, you're screwed. The DOJ is going to be all over them. And high misinformation. Yep. ADHD, ASD, and ADHD have a lot of comorbidities. They certainly do. Yes, I agree. And the effect I like to see come out of this went away after seeing what Trump said. He changed his plea to guilty. Now everyone with the pitchfork is frying him with it. Oh, I don't know about that. I think it was Trump's way of saying, hey, Idaho, we're watching you. Are you for real? I'm 100% Mark. Mark and Betty, I challenge you today, right now, to go watch a few of the hearings, to read all of the documents, and then come back and ask me if I'm for real. I have spent months investigating, research, watching, listening, looking, talking to defense attorneys, talking to district attorneys, talking to law enforcement. I was married to law enforcement, guys, for a long time. Some of the shady stuff I'll skip. But yes, I'm for real. When you've done that, come back and we'll talk. Because a lot of the people here have done that. My daughter can't either. Super smart. She was 14 before she could tie her shoes. That hand-eye coordination, I get. I think I found my happy place here. You speak to my heart. I am so glad. And you guys have been such a very generous group. I'm nervous about tomorrow. I don't see how he did this. Don't be nervous. Let's just watch. He always has a Hail Mary and he can appeal. A lot of people say, oh, he can't appeal. Your constitutional right to appeal still upholds in a court of law, guys. I meant they think probably I'm a weirdo, low self-conscious. I have too. Well, you know what? This guy has high intellect. He is a lifetime student, and that's what he was comfortable doing. You've been dedicated, Phoenix. Thank you. Absolutely. If it's only one person that's dedicated to bring you the truth and not some media hyped title or newspaper article title or headline, you guys deserve the truth. And we have not been given the truth because it's been so secret and held behind closed doors. Exactly. If Brian was, he would be so scared to come back. Well, my understanding is he took the plea deal, as Ann said, that because his people and his friends and his family were being threatened. And if you had anything to do with the C gang or the AK gang and they are in prison and all around, then you are screwed no matter where you go. And I believe, honestly, that because of the extensive testing that they've done for him, I think he may be going to a facility where he'll thrive instead of barely get by to survive. When you know that everybody thinks you murdered these people and you didn't do it, why are you going to look at them and you know they're scowling at you? And I think that that's why some of the families are not going. Now, rumor has it that some of these families met with maybe the prosecution and got some more information. Don't know what information they got, but I'm eager to see if they release any of that tonight. I challenge you, Mark and Betty, to bring all the evidence and documents, true evidence that they have against him. I don't think there's a real Mark and Betty, but I also know they cannot bring it. Absolutely, they can't bring it. Facts, Phoenix. Heather says, not to be mean, but why Mark and Betty are you guys here if you think she's clueless? She's a smart lady, so please stop. Well, I appreciate you. I appreciate you guys got my back. I mean, you know, I'm just sharing information that I've seen in trials myself, in court cases myself, and seeing a family member take a plea deal when they were not guilty. All I'm doing is sharing experience. And in this case that I have followed, because there are so many things about this case that interest me, this is not my first rodeo, guys. This is not my first case that I have followed. I mean, if you go all the way back to 2010, I talked about Haley Dunn. I talked about the Mike Long case. Oh my God, don't get me started on that case. I've talked about the Gypsy Rose Blanchard case in 2015, and even, you know, the Elisa Navarro out of Phoenix case that went missing, and we found her. And, you know, I mean, I could talk about all the cases. If you've been following me on TikTok, you've seen most of those cases. I just recently came over to YouTube almost, what, 7 days ago, doing long form content because I wanted longer form content. I wanted to be able to interact more. And this is the perfect dynamics. Hey, those guys were locked in the same as he. I think in maximum security, absolutely, some of those guys were. The secret is to protect the college. Absolutely. You gotta, what did I say in my video? My step one is you have to follow the money. Brian will quietly be released because he didn't do it. Possibility. Have you watched Xana's mom's interview a few days ago? Yes, Jane, I did. She looks great, but she knows why, exactly why these kids were unalived. And you can tell when she talks. Phoenix is intelligent and makes a lot of good points. Thank you, Green Electric Mama Blog. Keep laughing all the way. I'll show them out the door. There's only so much I can tolerate, you guys. They can keep looking like a fool in here. Am I missing the joke? This is a very serious case. Yeah. He'll be housed in Arizona. And I think, you know, they have a really good facility here in Arizona, guys. And it's not too far from where I am. And as you know, when I went to Boise, I did try to see him. They had to have an authorized list to see him, talk to him, or video him. So, you know, having an open mind in getting somebody to speak, they want to silence him. Thank you for all your help in this case. Please pray for the truth to come out every single night. This case matters, real truth. Absolutely. And it does matter because it is unjust. There's so much public mistrust. And yeah, bye-bye. I love you guys. I love you so much. And, you know, there's not a lot of investigative journalist out there, guys. I'm no journalist. I'm no part of the media. I'm independent, but many of you know my background. I am interested in this case because the first time I saw it many years ago, the one reason I didn't cover it full time was because there was some things that weren't adding up to me, and I said, I'll start covering this when we see more documents. And we started to see more documents under Hitler, which gave us a little bit to put the puzzle together. But I will say the mainstream media has definitely given you a twisted story about Idaho, right? So there is some crazy stuff going on there. But those are some of the questions. No worries, chit chat, thick. Yeah, bye, Mark and Betty. I will definitely not miss you. And I know you won't miss us because this is just not somewhere you belong. So I showed you the door. Bye bye. In a humble way, we all have our own opinions, but you don't have to be and I'm feeling really feisty today, guys. You don't have to be an asshole, okay? It's not every day I curse. So I used to be in the Navy. I used to be a sailor, a wave. I used to curse like no tomorrow. And it's taken me almost 30 years to not say a dang word when I'm upset. I use other words like shiitake mushrooms or sheet or stuff like that, but you kind of get an idea of what I say. So with that being said, yes, us free stinkers, us free thinkers need to stick together. And one thing I really want to say, here's a bonus. What would you do if your loved one was harmed and the court didn't protect you afterwards? Since we're talking about this 99 years of silence, I want to play devil's advocate for a minute, because what if it was you or your family and they didn't want a protection order in place. What would you do? Yeah, I've learned to have extreme patience, not just with my child, but people in general. I appreciate every single one of you guys. And you know what? As always, think about this. Tomorrow I'll be live streaming the sentencing with very little commentary, lots of chatting. You guys are welcome in to come and join. I'm sure there's quite a few people that will be streaming. Um, and I think it's important that we all have an open mind because you never know. We'll be on live with Birdie tonight at 7 Central Standard Time. And keep in mind, there could possibly be some Hail Mary to all this. And one thing I know for certain, y'all just buckle up. I got my popcorn ready. And I want one thing for all of you to remember. Be well. Phoenix out.
Phoenix, Phoenix, what do you see? Unlocking knowledge for you and me. The nest is rising strong and true. Sharing wisdom, me and you. Clap, clap, clap for the truth we seek. Every answer, week by week. Phoenix, Phoenix, what do you see? Unlocking knowledge for you and me. The nest is rising strong and true. Sharing wisdom, me and you. Clap, clap, clap for the truth we seek. Every answer, week by week.
Yo, microphone check 1 2. This ain't no ordinary stream. From the ashes, Phoenix talks manifest in a dream. Got a growing channel, YouTube's where the wisdom resides. For all the nest members, no truth can ever hide. She's an under detective on the digital beat, questioning the unthinkable, bringing fire to the heat. With a mind so advanced, highly intelligent and bold, part of the hive mind with birdie stories to unfold. Common sense is a superpower, cutting through the noise, unlocking closed minds, amplifying all our voices.
Phoenix, Phoenix, what do you